I apologize in advance. I really don't want to do this, but I have to because I'm going to make myself physically ill holding certain things in. So every morning I'll go to Twitter and I immediately regret it. But every morning I go to Twitter because that's genuinely the easiest, quickest way to find out what's happened in the sports world overnight. So I know what's going on. I have content for the day. I'm going to share what I saw. And then I'm going to do my best not to ruin the entire channel in responding. Keep in mind everything I just told you, by the way. It's important. This is a tweet from Dominik Hasek. You see the picture of little Bubba Ovechkin, Bubba Chicken. It's so bad, but I'm going to keep it. There's Luongo, there's Bubba Chicken, and he's scoring on Luongo. Dominik Hasek, who I would have never had an ounce of anything bad to say about. I don't know anything about him other than I loved watching him play. The NHL has sunk to rock bottom, ! Letting Ovechkin's son perform on the ice at the All-Star game is spitting in the face of approximately 500 killed, thousands injured, and tens of thousands of kidnapped Ukrainian children. The NHL and Gary Bettman must pay for this heinous act. Now, I obviously have things to say. But before I say anything, I'm going to play for you. It's about 3 minutes long. I'm going to play for you what Alex Ovechkin said about the war and Putin about a year ago. I was unaware of this. I'm trying to be as reasonable as possible. Here is what Ovechkin said a year ago. Make sure I can hear it.
Obviously, it's a hard situation. I have lots of friends in Russia and Ukraine, and it's hard to see the war. Like, I hope soon it's gonna be over and there's gonna be peace in the whole world.
Do you support Russia's invasion of Ukraine?
Um, like I'm Russian, right? Sometimes like something I can control, it's not in my hands. How I said, like I hope it's gonna end soon and it's gonna be peace in both countries, and you know, um, I don't control this one.
Alex, specific to President Putin, you've shown your support for him in the past. You have pictures. We've seen the pictures of you with him. Do you still support him as he leads this invasion of Ukraine?
Well, he's my president, but how I said, like I'm not in politics, like I'm an athlete, and how I said, hope is everything is going to be done soon. It's hard situation right now for both sides, and um, everything, like how I said, everything I hope is going to be end, and I'm not control the situation.
The last 48 hours, as you've seen the pictures of the suffering and things that are happening in Ukraine, like what goes through your mind when you see those images on television?
It's hard. It's hard situation. I have a family back in Russia, and it's scary moments, but we can't do anything. We just hope it's gonna be ended soon, and uh, everything's gonna be all right.
You mentioned a minute ago you're an athlete, you're not a politician. Just curious, like how closely did you follow the lead up? The several weeks before the invasion, and how closely have you just followed what's happened over the last 48 hours?
like how I said, my family over there. Of course, pay attention what's happening out there. I don't want to see nobody get hurt, nobody get killed. How I said, hope it's gonna be over, and we're gonna be living in a good world.
What did, you mentioned there that your family is over there now. What have you decided with regard to? Are they going to stay in Russia? What do you do?
It's hard question because it just happened a couple of days ago. We will see what's going to happen.
We've seen other athletes, other Russian athletes, speak out and say, "No more war, please," and other things, kind of forcefully. What's your?
Please, no more war. It doesn't matter who's in the war, Russia, Ukraine, different countries. I think we live in a world like we have to live in peace and great world.
Okay. All right. So here's a guy, undoubtedly one of the greatest hockey players of all time. As Stu would say, the Great Eight. Now, that was just a few days, like he said, after the war starts. And you can hear the media desperately trying to spin a narrative somehow, some way to make him look bad. The last question. We've heard other athletes, say strongly, no more war. He had just said, please, no more war, a minute earlier in the same press conference, but that ain't going to stop these people in the media from trying to spin something and somehow make him look some kind of way when he just said it. He's one of the ones you're talking about. He has family there. He has friends. He has friends in both Russia and Ukraine. Now, there's so many, there's just so much here because we'll start with this angle. We'll start with angle number one. People come to sports for an escape. People come to sports for an escape. Because exactly what Ovechkin is saying here. We don't have any control. Are you kidding me? So let's just extrapolate this logic all the way out, shall we? And I don't even need to dunk on somebody else's nation. United States has done far worse things than what Russia's doing in Ukraine right now. They've also defended the world from far worse things like, Hitler. But should we have not allowed American players on the ice? Because when Bush was ravaging Iraq, when Obama was killing kids with drones, should we just not let anybody Americans on the ice? As though any of us, me, you, the reporters, as though any of us have any real control. And the same people that are calling out people like Ovechkin for not saying more, for not doing more, those same people are just totally fine with, let's just say, certain segments of the population being censored for having views on certain medical treatments that were unpopular, that now have kind of turned out to be not so far from the truth. The same people that are calling people out for not going to call out somebody like Ovechkin for not going full tilt against Vladimir Putin, those same people are totally okay with somebody who might have a different opinion than them being censored. And you don't see the hypocrisy here? Now, past that point, the only way out of this is through it. And the only way through it is to make it socially unacceptable. To bring this garbage into the sport arena, into sports, period. And you're starting to see that. You saw that with one of the tennis players, I believe. sports athletes are saying, "Why? I'm an athlete. I have no control over this. I don't know what's going on politically." It's not the sports world's job. It's not the athlete's job. It's not the fans' job. Sports is meant to be an escape from all that. Sports is meant to be the thing that unites us all. But there's a certain segment that's just not good enough. That's just not good enough. We must find new and unique ways to divide us all. And what Hasek is saying here never freaking crossed my mind. And I think for the majority of us, it never crossed our mind. I thought my mind was working Cocoa Puffs because I felt bad for Huberto. And meanwhile, there's a segment of the population that were watching that and somehow getting offended. And I'm just going to read off the list. I don't need to share it. Where's the Russian hockey players? Alexander Ovechkin. I'm just going to read the ones that I remember were on the ice the other day. Ovechkin. Tarasenko. Was Kuznetsov on the ice? I don't remember. Kucherov was. Svechnikov from the Canes was on the ice. Panarin, I didn't even know he was Russian. Vasilevsky's Russian. Anybody else from yesterday? No, but Bubba is. Varlamov. Shesterkin was on the ice. I could keep going. I think you get the point. Is the bottom of the barrel letting them play? Or are we so obtuse that we are going to pinpoint and nitpick because the guy had his kid on the ice that everybody enjoyed, with the exception of those who just want to be offended by something constantly, permanently, all the time, 100% of their day. They cannot live without being offended by something, because then they would have to accept that life is okay. And if life is okay, then they're not allowed to be offended by anything. And that would just break them in half. They're professional victims. Now, I get the fact that what we're being told is going on between Russia and Ukraine doesn't sound right. But why do you believe anything coming out of this media's mouth in the first place? Every other thing that they tell us ends up eventually to have been bullshit. How do we know what the real reasons are? There's a lot of different theories, but there's only one theory that you're allowed to talk about, interestingly enough. Interestingly enough, there's only one theory that you're allowed to talk about without getting demonetized, having the video removed. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound familiar, those of you who are injured by a certain medical procedure? Does it sound familiar?